So, Bill, why don't you kick it off?
I am. So let me tell you a little bit about a story about how I met this guy. Okay. Actually, the reason I heard about Iger was from my guy in my mastermind group for about somewhere around 8 years. He was in there, which is Matt Basak. Okay. And Matt Basak, one day after he sent me over his campaign for the virtual summit, he said to me, Bill, you ought to meet Iger. Okay. So I was connected to Iger. Okay. And so far I can't get rid of him. Okay, so it's but in a good way, in a very very good way. Okay, but actually it's nice to see you again, Iger, and I know now you live in Canada. We'll leave it at that. I won't say anything else beyond that. Okay, uh, but the one thing I will say for our people that have joined our alliance, now you're alliance members, okay, you're going to really get a lot of value today, okay, because there's two big things that Iger is going to actually explain to everybody, okay, and then I'm also going to do something else, which I don't think I've ever done this before. At the very end, there's a gift that Iger has put together for everybody, and this is one of those gifts that you do not want to miss it. As a matter of fact, Iger, when you give out that gift, I'm going to get one of them also because I want to go through that whole thing myself. But anyway, so with that said, there's two big things that Iger is going to explain. And then as we do it, by the way, uh, Rob and Mara are going to also ask you some questions throughout as well. But also our members themselves, you can always just write on there questions that you got, and we'll go through the whole thing. Okay. But so here's two big things that Iger is going to explain. Number one is solo ads, and the other thing is affiliate marketing. Okay. And both of them are very, very important. So as we get started, I have my very first question, Iger. Okay. Iger, why don't you explain people what a solo ad is?
All right, it's very simple. I'm assuming most people are familiar with the concept of direct mail, where you kind of rent a list of names and you send them a postcard or a sales letter in the mail. So that's the offline version of a solo ad. The only difference is online you do it with email. Therefore, you find list owners, people who have built databases of potentially qualified prospects for your business. For instance, if you are, and of course, when it comes to online marketing, it's better to find people. It's better to promote products that are more global in nature. For instance, if you're a plumber, you're probably better off doing local SEO and local search ads rather than doing solo ads. But if you have a fitness course, or if you're teaching business owners how to market their business using social media, or if you're teaching productivity, that's a more global marketplace that doesn't necessarily tie up to a location. That's when it's recommended to you to go out and find other people who teach similar topics or intertwining topics. For instance, if I had a course, which I do not, because I particularly at that thing I do suck. If I was teaching a course about how to get ripped, right, some six pack abs and stuff like that, then then I'd be going out there and I would be searching for people who are building email lists in the weight loss or get shredded or muscle building space, and I would be approaching them and trying to negotiate a deal where I would rent out their list for one mailing. Now, contrary to the offline version of this exercise, where you would be the one mailing them, meaning that you just get a list of names and addresses and you just send out the postcards or whatever. Online, the solo ad email, that's why it's called a solo, it's just one blast, right? That email goes out on behalf of the person who owns the list. So they're getting an email from somebody they know, somebody they trust, somebody they like, and that's like an endorsement. But you just pay for it. You rent it out, which is a very good thing for people who come into the market with no reputation, no skills, nothing really to offer. If you don't have like a wide syndicate of people who can like vouch for you, etc. So you just kind of prepay it and run the ad the same way you would do on TV or radio, just with email.
Hmm. All right, so now everybody's sort of figured out what a solo ad is, and actually, one of let's see who's going to ask the question. How about Rob? Why don't you ask?
Okay. So a lot of the time. Oh, by the way, hi again, Igor. It was good to see you on the summit a couple of months ago. Um, a lot of the time we're told that pay per click is the way to go because that gives you total control over your traffic, and you can throw more money at it when you need more traffic, and then you can cut off the money when you don't. Um, why do you like solo ads and affiliate traffic over pay per click?
That's a great question. So, when it comes to online marketing or traffic generation on the internet, which is my business, there is, I guess, just like in many other industries, there's no shortage of advice, and most of the time, it's kind of like trying to drink from a fire hose, right? It's just
Yeah.
overwhelming. Now, you do have tons of options, including pay per click. That's not a bad, not a bad traffic source. I'll admit I have a pay per click campaign going on right now for my advertising agency, but I'll tell you, that's not the best leads that I'm getting there. And I'm also kind of overpaying for them, in my opinion. I do pay more for those leads than if I'm getting them as a part of an endorsement or a solo ad. And the other added benefit is that, yes, when you get pay per click traffic, it's somewhat targeted and there is somewhat of an intent, but it doesn't come close to an endorsement. So to compare, you could have gone out there and you could have searched for how to be more productive with my business. And you could have found an article and then you could clicked on an ad or whatever. But you could have gotten an endorsement for a productivity expert from Bill, who's a productivity nut, right? I remember watching this one seminar recording where Bill was like, he kind of stopped his presentation, took a sip of water, and he'd be like, just recently I realized that, about a third of my life goes to, having dinner, going on the toilet, and sleeping. And there's only so much time left to live. And it's like, wow, yeah. So getting a productivity
You just
endorsement
you
from
just
Bill, for
changed that.
instance,
You just changed that a little bit.
a
What
little
you
bit.
remember?
So getting that endorsement from Bill to a productivity product or a productivity expert is 10 times more powerful. 10 times more powerful. And then, things like price resistance all of a sudden go out the window. They don't question you as much in your claims. All of a sudden they take whatever you say differently. So it just makes your job to convert so much easier. And in many ways, let's just take solo ads, right? It's a paid endorsement. But if we're talking affiliate traffic, which we'll get to in a minute, that's free unless it converts, which means you don't even pay for it unless it gets you the results.
Yeah. One thing that just occurred to me as you were describing that, of course, is when you're running pay per click ads, you're paying to be put in front of people who might be leads. Whereas when you're running a solo ad or you're running an affiliate campaign, you're paying to be put in front of people that already are leads. They're somebody else's leads, so they're interested in the topic. And the best part is that person will have probably thrown money at pay-per-click advertising. They're the ones who are paying to have the maybes and the tire kickers and everybody else come to their list. And now they're just putting you in front of the people who really were interested. So I really like the solo ads, and especially affiliate traffic has always been a big. So
Yeah, it's really qualified. So they jumped through some hoops. They downloaded a bribe. Many of them are actually customers who are paying
yeah,
for that stuff. They're already investing themselves into the offers and the trainings. And what's most importantly, they proved that they're the kind of people that are willing to get emails about the topic and read them. So
yes,
that's like a step up from the ad because many times we will pay for those people. We'll try to get them qualified. For instance, if we're driving them to a webinar, we need to get them to sign up to a webinar. We need to get them to attend the webinar. If they don't, we need to give them a chance with an encore. If they don't, we'll try to get them to watch the replay. So they'll watch, 5% of the replay or 10% of the replay. So, I mean, many of them don't even make it to a point where we get to offer them something.
yeah.
So, yeah, if you can already position yourself in front of a really qualified audience, then do it. It makes your life easier.
Yeah. Mara, I know you had a couple of questions as well.
I do. Well, one question I had is How did you even really get started using solo ads and affiliate traffic? Were you trying other traffic sources before and they weren't working for you? Or did you want to avoid Facebook ads because they require a lot of tech knowledge? Or what's your background with that?
I'll give you the bullet point version of this because it can go on into like a 3 hour story. Basically, few things happened along the way. At one point, I started in MLM, and I really struggled in MLM. But that's when I learned that for the first time about list building. So I didn't, do like friends and family and stuff like that. I tried it real quick. I realized it wasn't the way to go. Then I started building lists, but I wasn't really successful at it. So I switched to affiliate marketing because that seemed like an easy way for a newcomer to make money without building a street rep for themselves. So I would create content around like topics and then would send that traffic to affiliate links. Um, I've experienced mild success with that, and it wasn't only until I built my own niche info product and started promoting affiliate products on the back end of that I started experiencing results. Now, at the time, what happened was I couldn't get any PPC ads going for some reason. Maybe it was karma, maybe it was just my inability to implement, but I couldn't get a Google ad going because I got banned every single time that I would get. Yeah, I lost 2 accounts like within a span of 2 months. I had no idea why because they would never tell you. It's like, oh,
yeah, no, they just tell you broke the rules and you're out.
That's it. It's like, what did I do? Crickets. Nobody. They don't want to talk to you. They got better things to do. Now with Facebook, I mean, no kidding. All that I wanted on Facebook was to connect my PayPal account and run my ads through the PayPal account to pay them for my PayPal balance, and I couldn't do it. Like the damn thing, like the API wouldn't connect, and that I just didn't do it. And so I stumbled into a forum post about what's called ad swaps, which we'll get to later. And so I was invited into this secret Skype group of about 120 or so marketers worldwide who all had email lists, and they were basically promoting each other. So let's just say I have an email list of 1,000 people, and you, Mara, have a list of 1,000 people. So it's like, oh, I'll endorse you. I'll send out your capture page to my list, and you do the same for me. That's what an ad swap is. And I started doing that. All of a sudden, I'm making money. But then at some point, my list grew so big that I couldn't find big enough swap partners. And I said, you know what? Let me just sell off a portion of that traffic. And I just offered it at a flat rate per click. And before I knew it, I was selling so much traffic that I didn't even need to swap anymore. And instead of swapping other people, I started buying this traffic from other people at a lower price than I was selling it. And it just eventually, almost by accident, I discovered this technique because at the time nobody built what you would call today a solo ad business. And I just scaled it from there. And it was about 8 years ago. And now I own the largest solo ad agency in the business opportunity and make money online space.
Well, that's good for you for getting that done.
Well, I gotta say, for the most part, I'm just a talking head. So for the most part, it's my team. Nice. I got an amazing team. I'm really lucky to have them. And for the most part, again, I would be out of the solo business by now if it wasn't for them.
If I wanted to actually run a solo ad campaign, where do I start? How do I...
Right. So the first thing to decide on is what would you like to promote? Is it your own product? Is it a product someone else owns and you want to promote it as an affiliate? Now, regardless what the answer to that is, once you've decided what you'd like to promote, then you have to figure out, is there even a need to do a solo ad? Like I said, if you're a plumber or a lawyer in the Manhattan area, you don't run a solo ad. You don't need to do that. But if you are selling how to get rich publishing books on Amazon kind of thing, oh, you can definitely run a solo ad. In fact, I got a client who does that. He teaches, well, it's not the same thing, but basically he teaches how to buy books and resell them at a profit. That's like a business opportunity that he teaches, and he makes good money doing that. So both like reselling the books and teaching other people how to do it. So yeah, that would be something you would qualify because it's global. Again, solo ads, you're looking for global big markets. And a good direction setter for you would be, is it business opportunity, make money? Is it weight loss or anything around weight loss? Is it say financial stuff, right? So financial is big on solo ads as well. Is it prepping? You'd be surprised, but there's a lot of people who think the world is going to end tomorrow, and they stack up on breasts and beans, and they go to these retreats where they learn how to shoot rifles and stuff. I actually met one guy who was selling me insurance the other day who does that, and he's like, "Yeah, you should come to this retreat. We got AR 50, and we got bazookas, and you should see my garage. I got all these beans and bullets stacked up, so I'm ready." It's like, wow, okay.
Beans and bullets.
He's got the financial insurance. He's got the other kind of insurance as well.
Exactly. And he's Canadian too, so it's like doesn't make sense.
Oh,
Canadian, owns guns. But yeah, so there's like these passionate global markets, and that's where you want to enter. If you fall under one of these markets or niche markets, then you start searching out people or companies that have products and content and webinars and seminars around the topic. And once you found them, you approach them and you start talking about running a promo and just see what they want to charge you. Now, the beautiful part is many of them will undercharge you because they have no idea what their list is actually worth. Many of them don't email their list every day, let alone maybe once a week. Many of them don't pitch to the list often either, which is a big mistake in my opinion. So as far as they're concerned, they're getting free money in the same way that if I were to run a radio station, I would make money by selling advertising shout-outs. That's the same concept applies to them. So you may even need to explain to them what it is because some of them won't know. But if they understand the concept, it's going to be very easy to get them to say yes.
Yeah. One thing that came to my mind, we were talking about earlier on how these are much better qualified leads than if you were just running pay-per-click. With these, assuming you find someone who's a little bit more sophisticated and knows what they're doing, is it possible to say to somebody, yeah, I want to pay for ads to your list, but I only want to target particular segments, or I only want to do people who are at a particular point in their sales cycle?
Yes, so that will require you to find someone who's advanced in segmentation, if you will. And as somebody who deals with that stuff and knows many of the people and they've been behind the scenes of their businesses, you'd be surprised almost no one does that. Like almost nobody segments their list. I remember Bill talking about this half a birthday campaign. Right, so it's like if you know your customer's birthday, you can send them a postcard halfway through the year and give them a discount, or like it's just an excuse to make an offer. So great, we actually did that, and I think no one else in the whole like internet marketing industry ever did that, because when I bring it up at masterminds, they look at me and be like, "Wow, how?
How do you know that? How do you know that?
How did you do that?" I was like, yeah, I just have to ask them when their birthday is and then have a person just keep a spreadsheet, on file. So, yeah, so almost nobody does that.
Igor, I will tell you, I do remember when I explained that. So you're right. That's a good example of that. Okay. So that one I remembered. The one before that I did not remember.
Seriously? I'll look it up. But I remember that. Yeah, totally remember that. But my point being is that almost nobody segments that hard.
Yeah.
And typically when people do, that means that they're aggressively marketing to the list. So they will probably not want to run a solo ad in the first place because their calendar will be busy with their own endorsements. Yeah. So you're actually better off running ads to the people who are not segmenting, but you're still getting a way better audience than cold PPC.
Yeah. Now, does this... Because we're kind of looking for people who are targeting the same audience as us, which implies, I've either got to target, that basically means two kinds of people. I'm either targeting, or I'm either approaching my competitors, or I'm approaching people who are in kind of complementary businesses. People who are in complementary businesses, it's going to be easy to get, well, I say easy. There's at least the possibility that they'll do it. What about competitors? Are they open sometimes to solo ads?
I don't know about you, and I'm pretty sure you would agree with me on this. I know Bill would because he profited from this particular principle for sure. But I don't believe in competition anymore. I
It was
mean,
a
yeah,
leading question.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you and I, if I own a Burger King and you own a McDonald's and we're both located in the same corner, okay, you and I are kind of in competition. But when it comes to global markets, there's no one person or company who will ever like scoop the whole thing up. And at that point, money stops being a zero-sum game. So your competitors actually become your partners because you all cater to the same audience.
Yeah.
And what happens is you've probably seen this if you've ever took interest in any global market sort of product launch, if you will. You'd usually see one person announcing a product, and then you see at least 12 other people who are big in that market say, oh, there's something happening on this particular date, so you should all pay attention. And then come due date, bam, your inbox explodes with the endorsement for one product from everybody. And then the next month or next week, or how it happens in the Make Money Online space, the next day, you've got all these same people endorsing a different person from their sort of this syndicate, if you will. So yeah, competitors are actually partners.
Yeah.
But of course, there's still this somewhat of a scarcity mindset, and you may need to present them with some evidence to convince them. But yeah, the competition, as far as I'm concerned, does not exist, and my best partners are usually people who sell the same thing. Example, so Matt Basak. So I ran this campaign. Those of you guys who already seen my case study from the summit, I ran Matt's campaign. And I teach email marketing. It's one of the things that I teach. And Matt teaches email marketing. So when I ran his promo, I made a lot of money precisely because I teach email marketing, because the audience is already geared towards that particular product. Now, we actually since then ran another cross promotion with Matt. He promoted my affiliate marketing product, and I promoted a new email marketing program. And once again, the results are similar. Everybody makes money because the audience just craves more of the same. That's what people do. When a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. So if they buy email marketing stuff from me, they'll buy email marketing stuff from Rob, they'll buy it from Bill and from Matt, and eventually they just enjoy getting it. They just want it. So they'll get it.
Well, there's a reason why when you're on Amazon, if you buy a book on, I don't know, let's say you're looking for a book on home decorating, they don't then, when you buy it, they don't then go, oh, you've bought a book on home decorating, I'm not going to offer you any more books on home decorating. What do? They fill your screen with other books on home decorating because they know if you've bought one, you're likely to buy two, three, four. And it's the same with info products.
Yeah, and then you get excited too. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like you want to click on that because all of a sudden the dopamine rush is there. Yeah, so totally.
Igor, let me ask you a question because I'm going to just go back to one of the previous questions that was sent to you. Okay, so and the reason why I asked this question is because I mentioned before Matt Basak was in my mastermind group, right? And at that point there was 18 people there that were my mastermind group, and one of them was Matt Basak. Okay, and a lot of times the guys in the group, they would say to each other, "Would you promote my product?" Okay. And I had a lot of the people that were my mastermind group would say, well, I would be happy to promote it to my list that never bought anything from me. Okay. Yeah. So they never had anybody that bought from them. So they knew they weren't getting any money because they never, so they would promote people that never bought their product at all because they figured at least they'll get paid for that way. Okay. Did you ever think of that happening?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. In fact, what's really lame is when I have a cross promo with somebody. So there's two types of promos. One is when you just promote someone else. The other one is when you and them promote each other, which has been a big part of my business. And what's really lame, what I really hate, is when I go full out for somebody, I'll email the ones who didn't buy from me and the buyers too, and then just email the ones that didn't buy. And typically I would kill it for them, and they would be like, they'll still make sales, but not to the extent. So yeah, a lot of people actually do that, especially the ones who are breaking down their list from buyers to non-buyers. So they don't feel like they're necessarily giving anything up. And I've actually tested this throughout the last year where some JV partners who I didn't necessarily consider long-term close JV partners, right? So I'll admit I cheated a little bit. I didn't mail my buyers for them. But what I noticed is that every time that I would sort of chip away from my list. Like I would have a segment of them turn into buyers because the offer presented by that other person, for some reason, just hit it, right? So they just resonated with the guru, or they just liked the offer, or maybe the time was right in their life and they just got a big, 401k deduction or whatever, and they just acted. So what I started doing is I contacted my GV partner, I grabbed their email addresses, and I tagged them as buyers now on my list. So then every time I would promote somebody, I would know exactly who the buyers are, and that's how I continue to build my buyers list. So yeah, totally. If they are afraid to give you access to their buyers, then just tell them, okay, just email your non-buyers and charge me a little less money if it's a solo ad, or if they just endorse you, just say, hey, you're not risking anything. You're not making money from these people anyway. You're probably paying to your email autoresponder hosting for hosting them. So you might as well see if you can, make some of that money back.
It's actually a great way to monetize unconverted leads. If you're the lead owner, is to offer them to somebody else as, I'll email my unconverted leads with your JV offer or your affiliate offer.
Yeah, and most of the time you can probably expect, like if you're really good, you can probably expect up to about 10% of all of your incoming traffic to turn into a sale. Within the first, I would say 2 weeks, maybe up to 30 days. The rest, they are now waiting for the next 90-day cycle. For some reason, I found that that's the cycle. It's like 90 days, 90 days, 90 days. It's like they're ripe after an additional 90 days, if you will.
They're starting to crave that adrenaline rush of buying something again.
Yeah, and it's crazy sometimes. I got an email the other day from this lady who's been on my list for 8 months, and one of the things that I do, I email my list every day. So she said, Igor, that last email you sent out, it finally got me. It's like got me. I'm ready. I'm committed. Yeah, and so she committed to $1,000 traffic package after 8 months of relentless showing, of me showing up in her inbox.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great example of why we need to keep at it with people, and not just, you send 3 emails and they didn't buy, that's it.
Yeah, that's a totally wrong approach. You have to email every day. And a lot of people will say that, well, inbox is really competitive and people don't check their email as often. Well, I'll tell you, people check their email more often than they used to, because now they have this. They have the extension of the brain with a bitten off apple on it. And so it makes it really easy to check the email even at the urinal, right? So when I go to the movies and I go to the urinal, the instinct is to reach into my pocket while I'm doing my thing and check my email. So people check their email all the time. It's just they changed the approach they use to check their email. The first question on their mind when they're looking at the inbox is, what do I delete? Right? So there's a lot of junk. So it's kind of like when they check their mail over the wastebasket. It's like, okay, advertisement. Oh, a letter from the IRS. Okay, I'll check that out. So, and then they look at who's emailing them. Like so for me, for example, when the email comes from Mara or Bill, right, it's like, oh, I'm checking, I'm opening, I'm reading. I'm almost don't even check the subject line. But if it's an email from a marketer who's who I signed up for 3 months ago, I'm not even looking at that for whatever reason. Maybe I lost interest. Like, for example, there's this guy who teaches how to start a social media agency, like how to make money by managing other people's social media. So the only reason I signed up for his stuff is to funnel hack him, right? To see what he sells. And since then, I just didn't bother to unsubscribe. So that goes in the trash all the time. But yeah, people definitely check their email. Email works. Email is alive. And to this day, it is the most profitable media. Bill, I'm sorry, it's not direct mail. It's email. Today, it's all about the email.
Well, listen, first of all, I like emailing, okay? And I probably like it better than direct mail, but I do like direct mail as well. I also learned a lot from you so far about what you do when you have to go to the bathroom. I figured out about it. I do have one little comment about the thing about getting people to promote their their marketing as an affiliate. Okay. Years back, when I owned the company, Glazer Kenny Insider Circle, Dan and I were both asked to go speak at their event in the United Kingdom. Okay, so we actually went to the United Kingdom. Okay, and we had that, and each of us did our own presentation. Okay, and then before we went there, okay, the guy that was running it, okay, he asked if we would promote our list to the people that were in the United Kingdom, okay, and which I did, okay, and of course that helped me a lot, and Dan as well when we presented, because each of us sold a product while we spoke, okay, and we knew that a lot of the people were members of ours, but just they weren't coming to the United States often, so it gave us an opportunity to meet us. And also, but they knew who we were and they trusted us, okay? And trust is a key word, by the way. They trusted us, okay? So each of us sold a large product for both of us, okay? And the people were sort of ready to buy it, okay, right away. And I'll tell you the one other thing that you talked about, books, okay? So both of us brought books with us, and people wanted to buy the books so we would sign it for them, okay? My point is that looking at your own list and figure out what's the right list for this, that makes a big difference, okay? So it's not about the entire list, just look out to the appropriate list in order to promote, which is exactly what we're talking about today. It's about affiliate marketing, okay? So, but let's continue, okay? What's our next question? I think, Mara, you must have a great question for Igor.
Well, so we've talked about affiliate marketing a bit. We've talked probably mostly about solo ads so far. So before we switch to affiliate marketing, I have one more question on solo ads, and then let's make the pivot to affiliate. So for everyone who's watching this, I imagine most of our members have not done solo ads before. So if they were wanting to get started with that, what would be the best place for them to start?
All right. First, identify what's your market. Are you even qualified for solo ads? If you're in one of those global big markets, then yeah, do solo ads. A couple of great places to start. One would be, and I'm gonna just plug my own stuff here because I'm biased that I'm the best at this stuff. So one place to go is go to Amazon and grab my book. It's called List Building Lifestyle. Okay, List Building Lifestyle: Confessions of an Email Millionaire. When you grab that book, please, first off, obviously read it, but also please forward this book to support@igorsolowitz.com. I'll type that into the chat a little bit later. And I will get you into my email marketing list building mastermind for 3 months for free. Okay, no strings attached, just for you getting my book and just because you guys work with Bill, Rob, and Mara. Now, that book actually gives you the introduction into the world of solo ads, list building, and email marketing. And then from that book, inside, you will also find a link to a free webinar that gives you a deeper look into that stuff. So my purpose is for you to, before you spend a penny on solo ads, is for you to know how to tell good ones from bad ones, because solo ads are a lot like the wild, wild west. It's a free, this vast marketplace, but there's no police. There's no one who can tell you, or who can stop the wrongdoers from scamming you. And so that's the biggest problem, I would say, with the solid industry. You can go into solid marketplaces, you can go into Facebook groups where a lot of people, they would talk about it, but that's when you get basically pay for fake traffic, for non-email clicks, for a lot of the, bad stuff. So I highly recommend starting with my book, and then from inside the book, you also get a link to a free training, plus get into my mastermind where we can help you start it in the more, answer your questions. So when you research the market, etc.
What was that email again?
I'm sorry?
The email address? What was that email address again?
The email address is support@igorsolowitz.com.
Okay, great.
And I think it's worth pointing out that the book at the moment on Kindle is 99 cents. So
that's right. I'm keeping it super affordable, and if you have Kindle Unlimited, you actually get it for free.
Exactly.
So yeah, just go ahead and grab it. That book is not to make me rich. Books don't make you rich necessarily, but that book is really to open the door for you and give you a path you can follow without necessarily overwhelm or making mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. Rob, do you want to ask the next question? Let's maybe pivot it over to.
Yeah, actually, the next question, we've had a question from the audience, and it's kind of a pivot almost the way back, because what she said was, what Jessica Davis asked is, what should you do if you don't have a list to swap? And I guess the answer is do solo ads.
That's right. That's right. So basically, ad swaps are like solo ad exchanges. So to get into that game, just buy some solo ads and you'll build a list real quick, and then you can start swapping as well.
Actually, that's a good point. I have seen people who have done exactly that. They used solo ads to grow their list, which brings me to a question I was going to ask before we do pivot, which is what kind of offers work best with solo ads? Are you better off running a list building offer rather than running a straight to a sales page offer?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. So I would not recommend to direct link to a sales page.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you sell a $1 product or a $1,000 product. Don't do that. Have an opt-in bribe. Yes, that's a good point. Have an opt-in bribe, a reason to share their email with you. And what you'll find is that because these people come from other email lists, they're actually more likely to opt in. So you're going to be looking at opt-in rates like 30, 40, 50% range. It'd be like, wow. Yeah, so opt-in bribe is definitely a requirement, because the subscribers you put on your list are a lot like assets. I mean, they're just precious, because the more they spend time on your list, the more emails they read from you, the longer, the more value they hold for you monetarily for your business. Because sure, it takes a little time, takes a little while to convert someone into a buyer, but if they've been getting your emails and they've converted, say, on day 33, from that point forward, it's going to be really hard, to convince them otherwise. For example, I was just reading through an application for my mentoring program from somebody, and this is obviously an extreme. Not every client of mine is like that, but it just shows you, like, it's a testament. So this lady, she went bankrupt twice, and she shares in her application that she's on her way to get to the third one, and then she sees one of my courses for $1,000, and then she says, I asked the universe for something, and then the universe sends me your course because I really need something like that, but I don't have the money. So I call up my dad and I borrow the money from my dad. And I was so convincing that within 10 minutes I've had the money in my bank account, and I was able to finally afford your course. So you see, and then she says, I honestly needed to choose between grocery money and like buying your course, and I chose your course. So when somebody says something like that, like grocery versus your stuff, and I choose you, that's a testament. Now this lady's been on my list for a while, I think over a year again, but it just takes time to build that trust, and that's okay. Just be patient. These subscribers are assets, so definitely have an opt-in bribe.
Yeah. And Cedra has asked, would solo ads work for discount travel?
Yes, the travel industry is actually really big. In fact, there are many, just look at the MLM industry, right? There's so many MLMs specifically built around travel, which means there's a big demand. So yeah, I would definitely pursue travel and discounted travel. Yeah.
Okay. So let's pivot across to affiliate marketing then. So far we've talked about I'll pay someone to run an ad for me. Now, like you said, it's I'll ask somebody to run an ad and I'll pay them if they actually make the sale.
Yes. So the fundamental difference between getting someone to mail a solo ad for you and getting someone to endorse you as an affiliate is that the affiliate only gets paid a commission of the sale, and only if the sale is actually made. An example, I am an affiliate for, let's use the same stuff, Get Shredded, Get Abs, right, product. And the product is owned by Rob. And Rob has this product that costs $200, and he's willing to pay a 50% commission to me or any other affiliate who refers the sale. So I grab what's called an affiliate link, which is basically a link that looks exactly the same as Rob's website link, only at the end of it, it would say something like ID equals Igor, right? So that link is basically a smart link that knows to say, oh, if a sale is made from this link, then it means it's Igor. Igor gets paid the commission. So I grab the link, I mail to my list, and let's say I send 50 visitors to that link, and out of those 50, I close 5 sales. Well, if so, I've made $500, right? Because 5 times my commission of $100, that's $500. That's what I make, and then if Rob has a refund period, he's probably going to wait that out for 30 days, and then he will pay me. So it's a pure commission sort of structure. With solo ads, Rob would have to approach me, give me some money up front, and have me mail, but he wouldn't have to share the commission with me. So again, hypothetically, same scenario. Rob approaches me, buys a solo ad from me for $300. I mail my list, I get him 50 clicks, and I convert 50 clicks into 5 sales. Now, Rob has made $1,000 because 200 times 5 is 1,000, minus 300 that he paid me for the solo ad. That's a $700 profit. He doesn't need to pay me anymore. He doesn't need to deal with any commission payouts, etc. That's the fundamental difference between the models. Now, of course, with solo ads, you have to pay up front. And you kind of take this gamble, if you will. And with affiliate endorsements, you're basically using your own people skills and communication skills to convince someone, hey, I have this good product, and it's a really good fit with your audience. Will you please promote? And so it's a little bit harder to make happen because of the nature of the request, right? However, there's less risk in it. So if you're putting in more legwork and more communication, and you got good people skills, and you're willing to figure out how to get in touch with those people, find their support hotline, and somehow get to the person who owns the company, and on and on and on, that's a great strategy for you. But if you're the kind of person who's either lazy or you prefer just to pay and forget about it, then maybe solo is a good option for you.
Yeah. The other thing not to forget with either of these actually is that once you've got the lead in your list, they're yours to do with as you will. So yeah, I might have made $1,000 and then I've paid you your $500 affiliate commission. But now if I want to sell them into $1,000 product or a $10,000 program, I don't necessarily. We might have negotiated that I give you some of that, but the chances are we didn't, and you've got your $500. But I'm now going to make whatever it takes, whatever I can off the leads that you gave me.
Yes, one of those quotes that was always imprinted in my mind when I first heard it from GKC. I don't remember from exactly which resource. Is make a sale to get a customer. That's how you build a thriving business that grows over time. Yeah. If you're chasing a customer for the sale, it's not going to work.
Yeah. So
that one I do remember, by the way, and it still applies, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, it applies today more so than ever, because what we're noticing is that people who are interested in something, they will now invest more than they used to. In other words, my average customer value has grown tremendously over the years compared to what it had been when I just started.
Yeah. So if I want to set up an affiliate program, where do I start? How do I find affiliates?
Okay. Well, the first thing you need to make sure is that you own the product, that you have a product to sell, and that one of the first things that affiliates will want to know is how it converts. Which means if you just put it up on the market, like literally just now, they're going to stifle you with that question. But let's just say you have a good product, how to get shredded, for males over 50 or whatever, right? So how to get rid of the beer belly, let's put it this way. Now, let's say you have this product and you need to get affiliates for it. The first thing you need to do is actually get an affiliate management system. Now, the easiest one would be to use what we call an affiliate network. Something like clickbank.com. That website is actually designed to connect affiliates and product owners. So they're sort of like the middleman between them. And what they allow you to do is upload your links into the network, and then they spit out affiliate links or an affiliate management system, if you will, dashboard, right? So you don't need to code anything. You don't need to do much. You just have to follow what they show you inside the website, and it's free to do as well. Now, the other thing they do is they've accumulated over the years, this is in old companies, like at least 20 years old, they've accumulated over the years a large database of affiliates. And specifically with weight loss, They have one of the largest affiliate bases in the world. Now, people go to clickbank.com to literally search for products to promote every single day. So if you put up your product there, you'll see all of a sudden you see sales coming in. You won't even know where they're coming from. All of a sudden you should be like, oh, Rob123 referred 3 sales today. Oh, Bill 27 referred 15 sales over the last 30 days, and so on. Like, you won't. These people won't even be talking to you, but they'll be referring sales to you. For instance, I got a friend of mine, Robbie. He's got this course on how to make money online, and he sells for $1,000, and he says he gets 5 sales per day from affiliates, besides any of the advertising he's doing himself. So even if he gives away, I mean, let's just say he gives away 50%. I don't think he gives away 50. He actually gives away 40%. But let's just say even at 50%, when you sell $1,000 course, you still get to keep $500. Let's just say we'll take some away for fees. Let's just, extreme example. Let's just say he pays overall $100 per sale in fees or whatever. That's still $400 per sale he gets to keep, and he doesn't have to advertise. He doesn't have to chase those sales, and he gets the buyer too. So out of every 5 sales he gets every day, that's a $2,000 net profit plus 5 people on his buyer list.
Yeah, it's just occurred to me actually that, because we said earlier on, if you're actually approaching JV partners and affiliate partners directly, they're going to ask you, how does your offer convert? Well, a great way to find out how it's going to convert is by starting off on ClickBank and letting a bunch of people who are only too happy to promote it. And then you can say, well, this is what traffic I've been getting. This is the conversion I've been getting. So now let's do it to your list, Mr. Person that I want to get to know better as an affiliate partner.
Yeah, you're right. So there's always going to be like a handful of people who will promote anything that comes out because they want to be the first ones to promote. They chase the novelty more so than they chase the conversions. But the big shots, the people who can blast out through their list and get 100 buyers in a day, those will want some numbers.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. So even if you're just getting started, and I didn't really consider that, you most definitely stand a good chance of getting people to promote you that are just there to be the first one to the market, So because sometimes when it comes to these industries, what you'll notice is that if you're searching for reviews for a product, all of a sudden you've got like 1,000 people trying to get you to click on their affiliate link. So when things get too competitive, many of them don't promote. And to the same extent, they will go and they will search for new stuff.
Yeah. At what point is it actually worth making the switch from a platform like ClickBank, which is managing everything for you, to now I'm going to set up my own affiliate management program on my website, and I'm going to start approaching my own potential affiliates and recruiting them myself?
You should consider doing that at a point where you've crossed multiple 6 figures, and when you started noticing that the quality of your traffic has gone down, meaning that when all of a sudden you received 20 sales this week and 10 of those had to be refunded because of just the craziness of the people who bought. There's always crazy people who buy. So
there's always crazy people who buy.
Yeah. So if all of a sudden you're noticing that the quality of your customers went down, you're probably better off to lock it, if you will, and then make your program by invite only, because now you have all these endorsements from other affiliates who are making money, and you can go out there, maybe join a mastermind group, or start just basically approaching people one-on-one and say, hey, would you like to promote my stuff? If I'll approve you. This is something that's exclusive. We don't let just anyone promote, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Igor, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How did you connect with Matt Basak? Did he reach out to you? Did you reach out to him?
So I was a kid in this industry when Matt Basak was already doing like 1,000 person seminars. So I never had the courage to approach Matt, at least not without an endorsement from somebody. So it wasn't up until about a year and a half ago or so when I had a mutual friend. We had tons of mutual friends because the industry isn't that big. I asked them to make the introduction, which is a really effective strategy. If you start connecting and networking, you can literally just ask people for intros and they will be happy to do it most of the time, I guess. I mean, sometimes I ask for intros and they say, yeah, I'll make an intro, and then they never do it. So, but it rarely, if ever, happens. So with Matt, I had a mutual acquaintance who was actually doing cross promos with him make the intro, and I also knew coming in that Matt wants to promote stuff. So that was kind of a no-brainer for him to say yes. And I already had, the data, or the numbers to say, hey, I can promote stuff. Look at this. I just made 50 grand this week promoting someone else's stuff. I can promote your stuff too. So it was, it was a good proposition. As they say, a compelling offer is 1,000 times more convincing than a good argument, or something like that. So that was a good offer.
So I want to spend, at the end of our time today, I want to spend a few minutes to tell something to Igor. But before I do that, Rob, do we have any other questions for members?
One that occurred to me was, again, the same question that I had with solo ads. So with solo ads, we said list building offers work the best. With affiliate ads, which kind of offers work best?
With affiliates, there's two answers to this question. The basic answer, the answer that I would give to somebody who's just getting started in the affiliate space, it's a sales page. It's a straight to a sales page, because an affiliate doesn't want to feel that they are building your list for you for free. It's a thing they think about. So even if you have an exit pop-up on your website that says, hey, before you leave, grab this gift, and you're only getting like 7% of visitors to take that gift, they'll still be up your butt about it. I'm talking from experience, okay? So they just want to send traffic to a sales page because they'll be the ones pre-qualifying it, and that's fine. Now, if you're more advanced, for example, if I was giving this advice to, say, Mara, right? Because I know she's advanced, I know she has products, I think she has a mastermind as well. At least I know I funnel hacked one of your webinars, actually, Mara, a while ago, so I know that. But I would recommend that she builds a webinar funnel, and then she starts approaching people she knows to promote the webinar, just like I've done with Matt, where Matt built a webinar. I've sent a bunch of people to the webinar. Sure, I built him a list in the process. I sent him a few hundred, subscribers on the list, but as a result of that, I also made way more money. So that's a little bit more of a mature relationship between the promoter and the product owner. So yeah, if you're brand new, never released products before, do the straight to sales page on clickbank.com. Perfect way to get started. If you want to raise the bar, if you already kind of tried that, then build a webinar. You can still host the order form on ClickBank if you want, but then you can structure these private joint ventures and have people not only refer sales to you, but also build your list for you, because to get on the webinar, you actually have to enter their email to sign up for it.
So, Mara, I know we have a gift from Igor, okay, and I think he kind of mentioned it already, but let's just make sure all of our members understand this. So, Mara, can you say one more time what kind of nice gift that Igor's making for our members? Oh, I lost your voice.
Mara, you're muted.
I muted myself because I have a brand new puppy and he's misbehaving. So I'll actually let Igor share it. Igor, you already shared about your book, which is great, but I think there was something else you wanted to share.
Yes, so I mentioned the book because, the question was how to best get started with solo ads, and I've literally published this book earlier this year for that purpose. That's why I mentioned it. The gift that I want to offer you guys for attending this webinar and for being cool is to attend another free webinar where I teach how I promote affiliate products the same way that I promoted for Matt, which is the case study that you've seen on the summit. You can go to igor.ac right now. It's an on-demand training, so you can basically stream it whenever it's convenient for you. And that's a free training. It's about 90 minutes. And during that training, I explain how I structure my affiliate campaign. And I also explain what sort of offers I promote. Meaning that while most affiliates understand the concept of I'll send a traffic to a link, that concept in many ways is not working today, unfortunately. They usually use the concepts from like way back when, and I still see people teaching that today, which is kind of annoying. So in this webinar, I came out and I explained of a different type of affiliate product. I also explained how that type of affiliate product can make me as much as 21 grand in one day with as little as 481 clicks to the affiliate link, which means less than half a thousand clicks makes over $20,000 in take-home commissions. And that's substantial, because most affiliates, what they have to do, they have to drive 200 clicks to a link to get one sale of, say, $100. So it's a completely different ball game, and it does not depend on the affiliate as it does on their strategy. So I want to share the strategy with you for free at igor.ac.